Welcome to Monday. As we explore faith over the next 2 weeks, I want to start with a question. Whose voice directs your steps and informs your decisions? And how do you know that your proximity to them matters? Last week, I asked my 3 girls if anyone wanted to come with me on a quick trip to the local outlet stores. Alessia and Karina, my younger two, were pretty comfortable, cozy. Let's be honest, they were being lazy. They said, "No thanks, Dad," and they passed. But Aria, my oldest, she didn't hesitate or skip a beat. She smiled, jumped up off the couch, and said, "I'll go with you, Daddy. Let me get my shoes." And she ran downstairs, got her jacket, all of her stuff, and she was ready before I was. As we walked through the stores together, I stopped and looked at her. And I said, "Hey, do you want to grab a little treat together?" She smiled so big and said, "I knew you were going to offer me something good if I came with you." Dad, I don't know why Alessia and Karina don't get it yet. Every time you ask us to come with you, you always surprise us with something good. I will always say yes to you. It's actually pretty dumb not to. My sisters aren't always the smartest. I just laughed, and then I paused because I knew that I was about to step into framing faith this week for you all. And it came flooding into my mind. I looked at her and said, "Aria, you just summarized faith more beautifully than I ever could. And I'm going to use this story as an example. And so I want to honor her today and do exactly that. Faith isn't knowing exactly when or how the good will show up. Maybe it's about trusting the character of the one who invites you to walk and talk with them. And before I go any further, it really matters that I highlight this next point for you. Alessia and Karina weren't punished for staying home. There was no correction, no disappointment, no discouragement, no consequences. They made a choice. My invitation this time wasn't a mandate. If it were a mandate, they wouldn't have had a choice. I'm their dad. But it was just an invitation. All 3 of my girls had an equal opportunity, equal agency in their decisions, and equal access to the same benefit that I knew I wanted to gift them when we got to the stores, but I didn't tell them about it because I wanted to see what they would do. The choice of my younger 2 daughters to follow what they could immediately see, the comfort of the familiar, quietly removed them from the benefit of something they couldn't even imagine or grasp yet. Not because anything was withheld, but because proximity matters. And the trust and obedience of walking and talking in faith with their dad had the opportunity of offering something that they couldn't hold and prove immediately. And that takes me straight to the story of Noah that I've been reading the first few days of 2026 in the very beginning of the Bible in Genesis. And for those of you who don't have the same faith as me, you probably have heard the story about Noah and the ark. But if you look at that story, a lot of people skip over some important things about the story of faith that's really the undercurrent of that. Noah didn't have a weather forecast app. He didn't have proof of what was promised to him, both the good and the bad, based on the direction he chose. He didn't have the agreement with the people all around him. They were laughing at him. They were totally opposed to him and the person who he chose to listen to and follow. What he had was a voice. And instead of trusting what he could see, Noah trusted who was speaking to him based on who he walked with. And it says he walked by faith. He walked in obedience before the rain ever even came. And side note, if you believe this story the way it's written, it had never even rained on the earth before. So he had no frame of reference for what this was going to be anyway. He had never seen this, the good or the bad. But he still built the ark even before there was evidence. He followed before any blessing or promise was made visible. And because of that trust, his protection and provision arrived right on time. And maybe faith looks something like that. Not certainty, not control, but choosing whose voice you'll trust and whose steps you'll follow when the outcome is still unseen. So as we explore the virtue of faith this week, I want to bring us back to where we started and ask you this question. Whose voice directs your steps and informs your decisions? And how do you know that your proximity to them matters. Because faith is rarely about what we can explain. Maybe it's more about who we're willing to walk and talk with. I'll see you on Wednesday. Thanks for tuning into this episode of The Power of Framing. Follow Foundational Coaching on your favorite social media platform, where I'll meet you on Wednesday and you can ask me anything you want. I'm honored to be a part of your story today, and I'm proud of your growth, my friend. I can't wait for our next time together, exploring the vault.